Hey, good morning, everyone. It is terrific Tuesday. And man, I tell you what, I hope you have a fantastic day. And I'm going to rejoice and be glad. Why? Because this is the day the Lord has made. And it's my Monday, but God says, work as unto the Lord. I've dreamed often of retirement nowadays and looking forward to it. And I told somebody Sunday, they're getting ready to retire, and I was just jealous about it. And I said, man, I just want to do this. I want to pastor and be full time at it. One of these days, the Lord will provide that, and we're working hard toward that. That's the reason we're doing a lot of the things that we are doing, so we can work toward that end. I don't know about you, but one of the most difficult, hard things for me is when somebody says something negative about me. And, as being a pastor, sometimes that goes with the territory, but it doesn't make it any more fun. And I know for you that when someone says something negative about you, or maybe, they said something that just didn't quite sit right with you, I know we think to ourselves, boy, I want to get back at that person. And and somebody told me the other day that somebody had said something negative about them, and they had dreamed of ways of getting back at that person, what is that? That's a natural human response for us. Well, in today's quiet time, Joseph and his brothers, if you know the story, his brothers, and Joseph was a little bit of an arrogant little punk, just to be honest about it. He got his brothers, sold him into slavery. He winds up in Egypt. He winds up being a servant of Potiphar. His wife accuses him of sexual advances toward him, and he denies it. And so because she didn't get what she wanted, she accused him of that. And what do? They throw him in prison. He ends up in prison. He gets out of prison because of some dreams he has. And he ends up as the second person in charge of all of Egypt. Now, can you imagine that? And so now there's a famine, and his brothers come, and Joseph recognizes them, and he knows who they are. And if it was you and I, what would we like to do? We would want to get some revenge, wouldn't we? We'd want to go after them and maybe blast them on Facebook or something. Who do these brothers think they are that they show up here asking and begging for food? And he did do some trickery with them and kind of messed with them a little bit. But in the end, and if you read that in your daily Bible reading, and today it says, you meant it for evil. Joseph talking to his brothers, he says to them, you have meant that for evil, but what has God done? God has used it for good. Now, boy, there is a lesson there that will just take you a long way in life, is that sometimes when things are done to us, said to us, that are meant to be harmful and hateful and mean, and those people have used that for and maybe you've done this too, shame on you, but, and they have done that to you, and boy, and so you think about revenge and stuff. Think about what Joseph done. He didn't do any revenge. He just said, Lord, he told his brothers, you meant it for good. You meant it for harm, but God meant it for good, and it was for good. Israel didn't starve, and the people survived the famine, and God provided in every way. So just some advice for you today is that when you are tempted to just lash back and get revenge, and maybe you are to pause and wait and say, okay, God, what are you teaching me? What are you trying to show me? And maybe God will take that bad, the struggle that you're going through, and use that for good. And on the other side of that, you'll see the glory of God and how that he worked in your life, how that he helped you get through that. And maybe reconciliation can take place through that. I hope that helps you today. Man, if you're struggling with this issue, I just really, really hope that it'll help you. Just remember that sometimes when bad things happen to us, God is using that to teach us, to teach them, and that God will eventually use that for good. Amen. Hey, God bless you today. Have a good one. We'll see you next time. And man, I hope that helped you out. Boy, that helped me this morning. I got to be honest. See you now. Bless you.